Hello guys, welcome back to video number 11 in the Databricks free edition series. In this video, let's talk about the Git support for queries in Databricks. If you are new to this playlist, I have created 10 videos already, and the last one was the Git integration, and here I talked about the GitHub for version control. I highly recommend you to watch these other videos before watching this video, so you know that there is the Git integration being done into the GitHub. And also there is this 30 days of Databricks series already being published 1 year ago. Some of those videos can be still relevant, so I highly recommend you to refer to some of these videos if needed. But now let's go into the content of today's video. You can see here it says Git support for queries in Databricks, meaning that you can source control a query by creating or moving query into a Git folder and opting it into the new SQL editor. I will be going through the SQL editor, and this was published December 17, 2024. But now, although it says here over the next few months, we will continue to add support. For example, this .sql format for queries is also already being supported. I'll be showing you two different steps in this video. If you go into this Databricks tutorial, this is the repository that I was cloning before when I created this last video. I will go to the Databricks free edition, go to the workspace, and you can see there is this Databricks tutorials repository that was cloned. I will go inside this particular Git folder. One thing to notice is that you cannot work outside the Git folder. You need to be inside the Git folder for this to work. I will right click, create, and you can see there are different options. We can do the query. Once I do this, now you can see it is opening inside the SQL editor, right? Here you can write anything. I can just do select all, and now you need to choose the catalog. I think if you have watched the previous videos, you already know that there is this 3-level hierarchy in the Unity catalog. You can even click here from the catalog. It can be workspace, and you can see the schema, so you can choose the schema from here if you have the schema or not. So if you are confused what you want to have the schema, you can go to this icon here, catalog, and you can see inside the workspace there are Titanic dataset which I was showing you, and there is the table also here. This is what I want here, right? So I will just do this icon here. Now you can see it takes that 3-level hierarchy. This is the workspace schema and this table name. I can just say here limit 10, right? So when I run this, it will say, do you want to start the compute, meaning it powers how we run the SQL statement. In this case, I can say start, attach, and run. When I do this, this is now revolving, meaning our serverless starter warehouse is being created under the hood. And there is the thing called UV high meta store disabled, and so on. And I have this feature which already says that it will go into the Databricks assistant, but let's not go into here. Let's try to fix this ourselves. So I will close this for now. But the issue here is I'm saying select all from workspace, Titanic dataset Titanic, but the error is the workspace attempted to use Hive meta store, which is disabled due to the legacy regions, right? So what we need to do here, instead of default, I need to be providing here Titanic dataset, right? And then I will say here workspace, Titanic dataset, Titanic, and the limit 10. So when I run this one, it should go through. Although you have this 3-level hierarchy here, at some points it's better to have it already in the label here, which I am pointing here, so that it follows the hierarchy. If you are working with this, you can just say from Titanic. For example, if I remove this part and if I just run this also, it should be running here, because there is this 3-level, 2 levels already being pointed here, and there is this 3-level. It's easier if you write these 3 levels, so when it is in the version control, the reviewer knows from where the table is coming from. And now you can already see that there is this main, because this is the main branch I'm working on. If you want version control, go to the main, and here you can commit, write a commit message and push it. So I will say here the commit message, commit for SQL in SQL editor. Just a simple message, but you can write the actual message based on the task you have done here. So I will commit and push. Now we should see the reflected thing in our GitHub. That is the good part of control. So I will go here, and now there is no file here. I will refresh the page, and now you can see there is a file called here new query 2025-817, because we didn't give the name for it. So if I go again into the UI, I will close this one. You can see we didn't give any name. So if you just want to give name here, you can just say SQL query, just like this. And now if you again go into the main, you can see whenever you make some changes, that needs to be reflected, right? So I think I didn't save that, so it is not here. I will just do control yes. So yeah, that is being saved, and maybe I need to run it again. So when I run this, okay, it's there. Now you can see there is a SQL query, and now this is being deleted, so that you can know from here that is deleted, that is added. And one thing to notice here, I just give the name SQL query, but under the hood it will be appending dbquery.ipynv. When you work in the SQL editor, you will not be seeing this, but it will be showing here in the version control, not to be confused. So you just know where it came from. I will say here file name modified. I can just commit and push. So now the new name must be reflected into the Git. If I refresh this one, you can see here it says SQL query db query ipynv. This is the thing that I mentioned. You might be seeing this in the version control or in the GitHub, but in the UI, it will be just showing you this SQL query. This is the first part. Now what we can do, the second part was also having .sql as the file name. What I can do here, I will again go to the workspace. I will go inside the folder, right click, and go to create a file. We went through query before, but I will be going into the file. I will do file, and now I will give this name here SQL query.sql. Here you can see it is just saying write something here. If I just type yes, it will say all the things. I will say select maybe all from. So if I write wo, it will say workspace dot, and you can choose your schema, your table, and then just give 10, for example. This is just the example I want to show you. The good part of Databricks, that when you write .sql, you can already run the SQL from here. You can see the results already. This is really good how Databricks has implemented all sorts of things for us to stay in one UI and perform all sorts of things. Now you can see we have this connected to serverless, not the SQL warehouse. This is another thing you might have noticed, because if you go into the SQL editor, the SQL serverless starter warehouse is being used. If you have the file names here .sql or something, whatever you want to create here, automatically the serverless one will be used. Here you can see we have the result. Now what we can do, same as before, we can just click into the main, and here you can see there is a new file being created, and now we have .sql instead of dbquery.ipynb. Now again, you can just write the message. You can say Titanic data first 10 rows. This is what we are writing in the SQL statement. You can just say commit and push. Now what happens is we will have another file updated into our GitHub. If I refresh the page, you can see here there is SQL query.sql. I think this is really good way how Databricks has evolved with the name, because if this is .ipynv, then if you are working with Jupyter notebooks, you might be thinking, okay, this is the notebook, but we have the SQL query inside it, right? And if you go inside it, you will be seeing the code. For example, this is in the notebook style, right? But if you go back into the .sql, it will not be in the notebook style, but it's kind of a file similar to other Python or Java or whatever file you create. This is how you can have the Git support for queries in Databricks. So yeah, this is what I want to show you in this video. Now you know how to do the version control for the notebooks and for the files .sql, .py or Java or whatever programming languages you use. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.